So in the Marvel Universe, there are a bunch of Superman archetypes or inspired characters, such as the Sentry, Gladiator, or even Blue Marvel to some extent. But perhaps, maybe even the most powerful among them is returning to Earth to destroy it along with the greater universe at large. And at the end of this comic, it leaves it on a harboring note. Now this is the Hero Informer, and let's see what's happening. So we see in Western Russia, during a specific time 2 weeks prior to Marvel's Blood Hunt, which if you didn't know was an event spearheaded by Blade as he tried to take over the entire Marvel Earth using vampires. And of course this is an important distinction and will come into play throughout this entire story. But we see something crash down from the sky, crashing down hard into a rural mountain. And who and what this is also very important that we should keep a tab on. Cutting over to now though, we move over above into Earth's orbit, on what is called the Impossible City, a home base and operations for the heroes and the Avengers. And here we see the Avengers having a meeting, arguing, as because right now this is after Blood Hunt, meaning this is after the giant battle and fight for the very Earth that has gone down, and not only resulting in utter chaos across the world, but even some potentially universe-shattering consequences, such as Doctor Doom being the new Sorcerer Supreme. But as we see now, Captain Marvel going on to say we failed, and with T'Challa, the Black Panther, not agreeing with this, he disagrees, going on to say, yeah, even though initially things weren't looking good, the sun still shines again. The world still spins, with humanity and the other species surviving and thriving. We have defeated Verne and the vampires. And of course, while he isn't wrong per se, Captain Marvel goes on to argue a different point. She goes on to say that it never should have happened. This entire catastrophe and worldwide invasion, the Avengers, the heroes, them, they should have never even allowed it to happen. Thousands of innocent people died. But this little argument and disagreement, even bringing in some of the other Avengers' opinions, such as Scarlet Witch, with her going on to say, yeah, thousands died, but billions were saved. We are talking about an extinction level event that we have stopped. But of course, this just makes Captain Marvel even more frustrated, with her going on to say, we owe this world a duty if we dare call ourselves the Avengers, and thousands being dead instead of billions is still a failure either way. Close enough is not enough. And on top of that, Doctor Doom is the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth. Spider-Man, the kid one, Miles Morales, is a vampire, and all the vampires on Earth can walk around in the sunlight now, as she storms away in frustration and anger. Which, I mean, I think this is pretty interesting for a couple reasons, mainly because it's cool seeing the fallout of a major event like this, and what the characters do directly after it and the problems that arise. How it's not just, oh, a crazy major world-ending catastrophe almost happened, well, back to regularly scheduled content, and just ignore it. But no, it seems the Blood Hunt event had major repercussions for the Earth at large, with even some of the Avengers agreeing with her, such as Captain America. But moving on, we then take a little bit of a time jump. A time jump to 1 week before the entire Blood Hunt massacre, where we see somewhere in Florida 2 figures talking. The much larger and opposing figure going on to tell the old man, it's simple. In 10 days, you are going to bring this flash drive and information to the local news network. In return, you'll be paid handsomely, as he hands him a big rock of solid gold. And of course, with the older man accepting, as he really doesn't have much of a choice, he goes on to further ask and say, what's stopping me from keeping the gold and tossing the flash drive away? With the other hidden figure going on to say, nothing I suppose, but I will know. As you see an outline of his figure, and if you know Marvel lore and certain characters, you will definitely already know who this is. But cutting back into present day and back into the Impossible City, and here we see the current Avengers roster, save for Captain America, who is off on his own mission, which will become really important and interesting later on. But we see all the Avengers here talking and regrouping, specifically starting with Captain Marvel and Iron Man. As after Captain Marvel's little outburst and frustration, interestingly enough, we see Tony is the one to give reassurance and to come to her help, to give her some advice and wisdom, which is a role that Tony is usually on the other side of, the one getting moral support and advice. So I mean, this is a cool change of pace, and just seeing how much Tony has grown as a character. As Tony goes to encourage Carol about her guilt about the whole matter of Blood Hunt and the lives lost, with him relating it to addiction, saying how guilt can be an addiction too. And speaking about Carol's guilt about the entire Blood Hunt situation, we move over to Scarlet Witch and Vision, who are also still on the Impossible City, as they talk about the same thing. As even though Black Panther disagreed with Carol, saying that they had won in the end and that it was a good thing, it seems Vision this time is agreeing with her instead of disagreeing. Because as he goes on to say, sure, thousands of lives lost in the face of billions is a favorable outcome and the better choice, which would be very logical, but as the artificial intelligence and machine that Vision is, he strives to be more than that. More than machinery and computation. You see, even though if you were looking at pure data, thousands is way better than losing billions, the almost human and compassionate side of Vision cannot see this anything other than a grave loss, a failure on the Avengers' part, of not stopping this threat of Blade, or Verne, the ancient vampire controlling Blade, sooner, and saving those would-be thousands of lives lost. But now moving from the Impossible City up in orbit, we move down to Atlanta, where we finally see what Captain America was doing as he was meeting with someone. And this special someone is none other than Storm, the powerful weather-controlling mutant. And why are these two even meeting? Well, for two reasons. One, because Captain America, Sam Wilson, wants an outside perspective on the entire Blood Hunt issue and the opinion on if the Avengers failed or not. And the second reason, well, being an invitation. An invitation for what? We'll see very shortly, but for now though, we see as they fly off and continue to talk. While soaring through the skies, Sam asks the question if the Avengers actually failed, with Storm giving her own opinion and wisdom on it, confirming if there was any warning that they ignored, and if they fought with everything they had, without any reservations or hesitations. And of course, with Captain America saying none, she says then to her mind the Avengers did everything they could. It was a terrible time, sure, but heroes like them are no strangers to tough times. For example, she has fought in wars on alien planets, so even she knows through winning, it brings terrible losses either way. And that the hard truth about this entire superhero business is that you really just can't save everyone. No matter how hard you try, there's always going to be losses in life. And with that issue out of the way, Sam goes on to further say that they are the Avengers. They stand for every thinking being on the planet. No, not just humans, but synthetics, Atlanteans, and etc. And mutants. And how the Avengers have to stand for mutants the same way they do for everyone else. They need a mutant presence and voice on this team, as Sam Wilson holds out his hand and formally invites her to join the Avengers. As it is a tradition in the Marvel Universe, if you are popular enough, at one point or another, you're going to get a spot reserved on the Avengers team. And this time for the mutants, it seems like it is Storm's turn, which can lead to an interesting roster to say the least. But moving from Earth all the way to the barren planet of Pluto, we see a more sinister plot brewing in the background, with this mysterious stranger from earlier now here, claiming that he came to Pluto to try and find some peace, some clarity, but there was nothing there that can offer him that. There is no truth here, no more than it was on Earth, and so it is time to return. Time to return to Earth and end it, as you see this mysterious stranger rocket off Pluto and towards Earth, coming in at incredible speeds. And back on Earth, we finally see what that old man was doing with the flash drive and the local news company he gave it to, and the information that was enclosed on there seemingly being so important that it gets spread worldwide and fast. As we see up in orbit in the Impossible City, Thor just chilling cooking some meat. But his little dinner sesh is interrupted because the same broadcast from Earth has now made its way into orbit. And as we see on the screen, it is none other than Hyperion, who is revealed to be the mysterious stranger throughout this entire comic. And this version of Hyperion is special. And to my knowledge, I don't think there even is a 616 version of Hyperion, but this version specifically is from the Heroes Reborn timeline, a timeline in which Mephisto has taken over and controlled Earth, meaning everything in this Hyperion's lifetime was a lie, making him even more crazy and confused than usual. And his actions match just that, with him going on to say the world that he knew was a lie. Everything that he'd done, all the good he has done, was a lie as well. And if his world was a lie, what would that make him? And if this new universe Earth is real, then he is a lie, and he has no way to prove either, so naturally, he plans to destroy both. As he goes on to say, by the time you even hear this message, I will be approaching Earth at a significant portion of the speed of light, a collision course, as it seems Hyperion's plan is to ram into the Earth as a giant speeding nuke. So as soon as he makes impact, he is going to take the entire planet with him, every being, hero, and villain alike gone in an instant. As we even saw Captain Marvel and all the other Avengers scramble to even put together some kind of defense to protect Earth. But even knowing that, in Hyperion's own words, nothing can even stop him, as you see a widespread of him flying at light speed towards the planet. And with this revelation and cliffhanger, this video comes to a close. If you enjoyed, leave a like, or leave all of your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget, if you're new, to subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Now, this was the Hero Informer, and thank you for watching.